Okay, so for our deep dive today, we are looking at a piece of hardware with a name that is, well, it's a mouthful. The NTI USB 3-2FOLC9-2 two-port USB 3.0 extender.
That is some serious alphabet soup.
It really is, but, if you've ever tried to run a USB 3.0 cable more than, 9 or 10 feet, you know exactly why a thing like this needs to
Oh,
exist.
yeah. It's the classic battle against physics. I mean, standard copper USB cables are fantastic for speed, but they just have terrible range. The signal degrades so fast.
Exactly. You hit a hard wall at about 3 meters. But looking at the specs here from NTI and HDTVSupply, this device isn't just extending the signal, it's completely changing the medium.
It is. We're ditching copper for glass.
Right. Fiber optics.
Exactly. It uses fiber optic cables,
Mhm.
specifically duplex LC single mode or multi-mode.
Mhm.
And to translate that out of networking jargon, we're basically talking about the same high-grade optical cable you'd find in a server room.
So by turning the electrical USB signal into light,
You completely bypass that resistance problem. Light just doesn't care.
and the range stats they're quoting are honestly kind of wild for USB. The datasheet says this can push a signal up to 11,148 feet.
1,148 feet.
Yeah, that's 350 meters.
To put that in perspective, that's more than 3 football fields.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
could have your computer in the press box and, I don't know, your keyboard on the 50-yard line in the parking lot.
Which is impressive, but for me, this is where it gets really interesting. It's not just about the distance, it's about the environment.
The noise.
The noise. If I'm running a long copper cable across a factory floor, I'm going to pick up so much interference.
For sure. That's the low RFE feature they're highlighting. Copper acts like an antenna. It just loves soaking up electromagnetic interference from heavy machinery or, say, MRI machines.
But light doesn't.
Light is completely immune. You could wrap this fiber cable around an industrial generator and the data signal wouldn't even blink.
So that makes it huge for industrial or medical setups. But okay, usually when you get into industrial fiber gear, you're signing up for an IT headache, custom drivers, software.
Oh yeah, a total nightmare. But that's the really surprising part here. It's listed as a fully transparent USB connection.
Meaning.
It supports Windows, Mac, Linux 0 drivers required.
So it's genuinely plug and play. You just plug it in and it works.
It is. As far as your computer is concerned, it just sees a generic USB hub. It has no idea that hub is a quarter-mile away.
Okay, but let's talk about the other big limitation of fiber. Glass is great for data, but it can't carry power. A normal USB cable powers your device. How does this handle that?
You caught the catch. It can't. The remote unit, the little box at the far end where you plug your devices in it, has to have its own power supply.
So it needs to be plugged into a wall outlet.
Right. It comes with a little power adapter.
But looking at the specs here on the output, it provides a full 900 milliamps per port. That's actually a big deal.
It is. That's the full USB 3.0 power spec. So you're not just powering a mouse or a keyboard.
900 milliamps is enough to spin up a portable hard drive or run a high-quality webcam.
Exactly. And it maintains the full 5 gigabits per second bandwidth of USB 3.0. You're not sacrificing performance for distance. Not speed, not power.
Okay, so a device that teleports your USB ports over 3 football fields, ignores all electrical noise, and needs no software. This sounds amazing. Then I looked at the price.
Uh-oh.
$795.
Yeah. That's some serious sticker shock if you're comparing it to a $20 Amazon cable.
I mean, it's a lot.
It is, but you have to look at who this is for. It's not for the average person.
I noticed something on the spec sheet, the TAA compliant badge. That's a big deal for government contracts, right?
Huge. TAA compliance essentially means its supply chain is vetted for U.S. government procurement. So if you're a defense contractor, a hospital, a federal agency, you have to buy TAA compliant hardware.
So you're paying for that certification, the 2-year warranty, and that industrial grade reliability.
Precisely. You're not buying this to charge your phone from across the house. You're buying this because you need to control a machine in a hazardous environment from a safe room down the hall. It's infrastructure, not an accessory.
It really does change how you think about setting up a workspace. We're so used to being physically tethered to the computer tower under our desk.
That's the real takeaway for me. We've always just assumed that the computer and the user have to be in the same room.
But if the connection can be instant and invisible over 1,000 feet,
Then why have the noisy, hot computer in the room at all? It raises a really fascinating question.
which is...
If you completely remove the distance limit, could we just centralize all the computing hardware into a closet and just have our screens and keyboards in our actual offices, it could fundamentally change how we design our workspaces.
Something to think about the next time you're tripping over a cable. Thanks for tuning in to this deep dive.